Another drugs cover-up, a new security scam, and a pesky celebrity revealing the truth. Just another day in the life of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, who now may well be a masochist, as Nancy Sidley asked after this video went viral.
Balloon thrown in my head after being pelted 3 times in my stomach, and I really enjoyed it.
Ugh, weirdo. I guess you'd have to be a masochist, right, to want to stay married to Meghan Markle. And what about these claims that the pair are plotting an apology, a public apology to the British royal family? Well, royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz, is not buying it, writing Harry and Meghan are toying with the idea of a public apology to the king to give him, quote, the respect he wants without forcing the couple to walk back every interview, documentary or page of Spare. Well, that's not an apology, then, is it? It's an attention grab. Tash, so much to get into today, and of course I do want to come to word of this apology, but I think Nancy Sidley's onto something, isn't she? There is something quite masochistic these days about
it was a bit
certain
creepy.
Duke. Yeah, it was.
I mean, he's talking about, I don't know. I mean, I don't want anybody twisting this, but it's a bit weird that he's having a conversation about kids and he's like, yeah, you know, the kids kept hurting me and I quite enjoyed it. I don't know. It made me feel a little bit, maybe just because I've reached that point with Harry that I think he's an absolute idiot. And then when he says things like this, it just makes me cringe. It's the sort of things he might have got away with more when he was the fun, playful Harry in his 20s that we all got to know. Well, we thought we got to know. And as it turns out, a lot of that was very clever palace PR. But to see a grown man, you know, a father of 2 behaving the way that he does now, it just doesn't sell the same, does it, anymore, Dan?
No, and just listen to his voice, Tash, because I think he has purposefully altered it here. Just listen.
I just had a water balloon thrown in my head after being pelted 3 times in my stomach, and I really enjoyed it.
It's weird, isn't it? Very, very weird.
It's just weird. You think it's AI. It doesn't seem right. There's just something off with it, you know? But then that's Harry all over these days, really. He just doesn't seem quite right. There seems to be something just underneath the surface these days.
Tash, I'm completely with you about this apology ploy, by the way. I agree. It is only an attention grab. And the reason that they are considering this, Tash, is for PR purposes, which means I think everyone should just reject it outright.
Of course. I mean, the fact that if you wanted to apologise, you would apologise. They haven't apologised, but they're giving a public press release to say that they're toying with the idea. And even the wording of it, to give the king the respect that he wants, deserves. They all deserve it. The Queen Elizabeth II, she deserved respect, but they didn't give it. Prince Philip deserved respect, especially in those final weeks before his passing, a man that dedicated his entire life to service, to duty to this country. And look how they treated him. Look how they treated the Queen. Look how they've treated everybody. And yeah, to make they haven't done a public statement, but it's through their sources by stating that they're toying with the idea of doing. So they're trying to get credit for potentially doing an apology. It's not an apology. That's not an apology. You would just go apologise. And neither of those are capable of doing so, because I don't believe that they think that they've ever done anything wrong. Deep down, those two probably still feel that they are the ones that deserve the apology.
Tash, to the security scam, and this all involves the trip to Canada over the weekend, and I know you have some thoughts on that, which we will come to.
Always.
But first, Tash, I just want to talk about what's really going on, because it feels to me, and this isn't just about Canada, it's also about Portugal, it's also about Scotland. It feels to me that Harry and Meghan are devastated that the paparazzi have just given up, that they're not interested enough. They can't deal with the bullshit. They don't want to be sued. There's not a big enough price tag. So what Harry and Meghan now do, wherever they travel over the world, is they drop hints. They drop crumbs. It's a bit like Taylor Swift when she's putting out the little guessing games in regards to a new album.
Easter eggs, I think they call them now, don't they? Yes,
right,
Harry and Meghan are all about the Easter eggs.
But they always do it via someone else, Tash. So in the case of Canada, it was Kelly J. Zajfin, who is sort of their useful idiot these days. And you could see through all of the pictures that were posted, they were giving very, very clear clues that this is where we are. We're in because look, you can actually see they're in exactly the same place as Harry and Meghan. And indeed, even though she didn't name Harry and Meghan, in her Instagram post, Kelly, she's known there as Heart Mom, actually made it pretty obvious that this was with Harry and Meghan because she described them as best friends. Yes. And Nancy Sidley put it this way: for some reason, Meghan really wants everyone to know the exact spot where she was staying on Vancouver Island. Technically, it was one of the Gulf Islands. But I do believe, Tash, that this is purposeful. Now, they are so desperate to be papped for a couple of reasons, in my view. Yeah. Firstly, because it means Harry can unleash the security rubbish again. Here's the proof. One paparazzi incident would actually cause a full-on security push, in his view, from a PR perspective. So I'm quite glad that none of the pap agencies are actually giving it to him. But then from Meghan's point of view, it's actually something even more sinister. It's so she can immediately say to Harry, oh, look, the faces are out there anyway. So it's much better that I just put the faces out of the children on my Instagram. So I think it sort of both serves their purposes. But first, you know, here on Outspoken, we spend an awful amount of time talking about institutions that don't give you the full picture. Well, here's one that can hit Americans directly in their wallet: Medicare. Millions of people are on the wrong Medicare plan and don't even know it. Not because they're careless, because most Medicare agents only show you the plans that pay them the most. So you never see the full picture. That's why I want you to know about Chapter. They are the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. Chapter's independent advisors look at your doctors, your prescriptions, your priorities, and they're honest. They're not paid to steer you anywhere. One caller, called Chip, found out his old broker had been putting his own paycheck first. Chapter found him a better fit, and now he's saving over $1,300 a year. Folks who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year on healthcare costs. So call 814-813-4918 now. It's free, takes under 20 minutes, and there is no sales pitch. Finally see the full picture by calling 814-813-4918. But now, back to the show.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the children, though, because I can't help but feel that she won't give up the control that she has. And once the children's faces are shown, that control disappears. That's why I never believed that we would see the children, even if Harry had taken them to the Invictus event when they were over recently. I don't think that we will ever see the children until it comes to a point where they can no longer hide them. The children are, obviously going to school and teens and whatnot. But Meghan, I think she's such a control freak with it, and it gives her maximum attention, because even these photographs now, the backs, the heads of children, it's like her thing. And people talk about it. Whereas if she starts showing the faces, she'll get the initial flash in a pan, and then, of course, interest will die down. But I have noticed by looking at social media trends over the last couple of years and being on there myself frequently, people aren't interested in seeing the children. People have missed out on those first few years when I think the public would naturally have bonded with the children, build up warm affection towards the children, like what you've seen, not just with the Wales children, but a lot of the royal children, even Zara and Mike Tyndall's children, for example, even Peter and Autumn Phillips' two girls. The public do recognise them. There's always nice things being said. They're growing into beautiful young women, but we've seen them since they've been children. We've watched them play, we've watched them interact. And the way Harry and Meghan have kept the children, it's very similar. As I said, I know I've said this before, but like Michael Jackson with the veils over their faces, it's completely pointless even taking the photographs. It would be okay if it was just the one thing that maybe Meghan wanted to post on social media, because I know that I've seen lots of other families do it where they want to protect their children, but that's generally when the children are a little bit older. For Meghan, this has become like her stamp, her thing. This is like her jam, as it were, and she's not going to give that up at all.
Tash, then we come to what actually went on in Canada. There are a couple of things that you have been across that I just want to share. So you post on X, I have just seen these two images together. It looks like Katharine, now you're referring to Katharine McPhee there, who's of course the wife of David Foster, it was their event, was talking to Meghan in the first picture. But Meghan was more interested in her husband, David Foster. So sweeps her arm across to Harry, completely blocking Katharine. You can just see her mouth above Meghan's left shoulder. Perhaps the photos are out of order, but it wouldn't put it past Meghan to actually do that. And then when Meghan's mole pointed out, don't you remember why the Fosters and Meghan had a falling out? Meghan hitting on David like a feral cat on heat. You replied, yeah, and giving a press release and inviting the paparazzi when they went out to dinner. And you can see there that headline, surprise, surprise, People magazine, Tash.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry double date with Katharine McPhee and David Foster in Montecito. So Tash, when you also saw this video on the red carpet, there definitely looked like there was tension. So tell me, what did you pick up from your close analysis of those pictures, and also what you know previously about the sort of hot and cold relationship between these two couples?
Well, when they first moved to Montecito back in 2020, they went out to dinner, and that's when a press release was given. And I think lots of celebrities outed themselves for using paparazzi, doing the pap strolls where they pre-arranged the paparazzi to be there, because in the pandemic, everyone was wearing masks. You won't know who these people are walking up and down the street, you know? So, of course, it was very, very obvious that they have been told exactly who they were going to dinner with, where they were going, where they were eating out. And there was even a photograph of Harry and Meghan stood right by the lucky sign, you know, to plug the restaurant as well. So you didn't see David and Katharine spend any time with them after that. And then there was a polo match where Meghan didn't go in Montecito, and David Foster was seen with his young baby at the time with Katharine talking to Harry. And then that's pretty much been it until now. Now, I think when you look at David's reaction alone with Harry on the carpet, Harry is the reason why they are there. And that's because David Foster, like a lot of these big celebrities and A-listers, had a lot of respect for Princess Diana, much like John Travolta. So this is Harry's free pass. And no matter what people think of Harry, this will be his free pass for the rest of his life, because a lot of people won't be able to get near Prince William for a variety of reasons, because he sees through what this is really about. It's about drawing attention, having that royal stardust, having that glitter put on. And I know that obviously a lot of us don't feel that Harry does have that stardust anymore, but for some he always will, because his mother will always be the late Princess Diana. But I think with the moment with Meghan pushing in front of Katharine, I said when I found the pictures, I was like, I don't know sometimes whether the photograph should have been the other way around, that Meghan didn't realise Katharine was behind her and then she turned. But regardless, they were greeting the couple on the carpet. So David Foster and Katharine McPhee, obviously, they are the hosts. And Meghan turned her back to her regardless, whether she'd just come on the carpet to meet her, or whether she was deliberately blocking her because she was transfixed on David with that big, you know, feral sort of grin that she has. It's rude, but we've seen Meghan have a lack of manners across multiple events and multiple people. I mean, she even turned her back on the Queen. So Meghan does not have, I would say, great social skills. She knows where the camera is. All she cares about is her shot and is she in view. That's with regards to that. And as for the clip with David Foster blanking her on the carpet and here, he's only interested in Harry. But I've got to ask, Dan, have you seen the response? I don't know if you were going to bring it up, the reasons why There's been an excuse released as to why he didn't look at Meghan.
Yes, go on.
They've said sources, and this hasn't been confirmed by David Foster's team, but sources have spoken to the Daily Mail, shocker, and said that he was very excited that Harry and Meghan would be in there, but he just couldn't see them. On the carpet, literally on the spot where he was meeting other guests with the cameras, they've probably got the marker on the carpet, guests stand here for your photographs to be taken, and he apparently didn't see her. Now, this makes me laugh, Dan, because Meghan recently has just basically called Martha Stewart senile because she couldn't have heard her as she was confused. And now they've turned around and said about this, oh, David Foster didn't see them. Really? That's the best you could come up with. What?
And this was because they were not happy. Harry and Meghan were not happy about the fact that all of the headlines from the event, the mainstream media headlines from the event, were all Meghan is snubbed on the red carpet by a Hollywood A-lister. Always. And it never works out because it just exposes more of their lies. Tash, I've got to ask what's going on with this ring. Okay, this mysterious pear-shaped diamond ring. And the reason I ask is because Town and Country and Emily Burak, who has been now acting as almost like the new Omid Scobie figure in Meghan Markle's life, has actually been writing about this now and why she wears this mysterious pear-shaped diamond ring. And she wrote, in a recent Instagram reel celebrating the launch of As Ever's Blackberry Spread, Meghan Markle shows off a mysterious pear-shaped diamond ring on her right ring finger. Meghan first wore the ring publicly at the 1805 Live event in September 2025, and then again the following month at the Balenciaga show during Paris Fashion Week. She's worn it numerous times since, including to the NBA All-Star Game and a recent Cookie Queen screening. But the As Ever reel is the first close-up look fans have gotten at the new sparkler. Meghan's new ring is estimated to be between 5 and 6 carats larger than her engagement ring from Prince Harry. That engagement ring, custom-made by court jewellers Cleve and Company, features 3 diamonds, 2 from Princess Diana's collection and 1 sourced from Botswana. The centre stone, estimated to be a 3-carat cushion-cut diamond, while the side stones are estimated at 0.75 carats each. The couple redesigned the engagement ring in 2019, reportedly resized and reset by jeweller Lorraine Schwartz. Since, Meghan has sometimes gone without the ring and just opted to wear her Welsh gold wedding band or 2 zodiac rings that feature her and Harry's astrological signs. Now, Tash, you know Town and Country and Emily Burak do not write a story these days unless Meghan has wanted the story out there.
Given the go-ahead.
Yeah. So what do you think this is about? Why does she want us all talking about this new ring? Is it because she was concerned about the coverage of the fact that she's had her engagement ring off now for 5 months, really?
I mean, it could be. You never really know with Meghan. It could be that this particular... She's showing it off for a reason. So given the reason why Meghan wears lots and lots of jewellery all the time, she's either merching it or she's showing off the most expensive thing that she's got. She is very much what people sometimes call new money, where she feels that she will go out and wear a £200,000. Yes, she's very, very much like that. She won't have a suit tailored to her to fit her body shape. She'll look a baggy mess, but she doesn't care because everybody knows that it costs 200,000. She's just one of those sorts of people. I think it also draws speculation by her wearing that ring to her engagement ring. She likes people talking about the fact that she's not wearing it. She's actually had her original engagement ring altered, I would say, a minimum of 3 times from when she got married to Harry. It first disappeared and then it came back and the gold band was gone and she had a thin set of diamonds around it. Then it disappeared again and she had more diamonds put underneath the casing of where the diamonds, the Diana's one was and the 2 Botswana ones. And it's just basically, she's turned it into pretty much a footballer's wife ring. And funnily enough, it doesn't look too dissimilar to the wedding ring collection band that she had and everything with her second or third husband, whatever. Trevor, I can't remember his surname now, but Trevor Engelson. She's completely changed what he gave her, that he was so proud he had made for her. And then there's lots of times where, this ring is missing. And Meghan just wants people talking about her all the time. So It's much like when she had a signet ring. She makes sure when she's posing, if you see Meghan doing something like this, like she's in Madonna's Vogue video, it's because she's deliberately trying to draw attention to something to get attention. She just wants people to talk about it. It could be that maybe she convinced Harry that she didn't want the original ring, not that there's much left to it, and Harry has eventually bowed down to his wife and bought something super expensive for her with the last of the Archwell donations. Who knows with Meghan? But there is probably a reason why we are seeing not just Town and Country, but you see when you go onto Google search, you'll see 10 or 12 different media outlets all pumping the same story. So it's obviously been given the go-ahead, like you said, from Camp Montecito for whatever reason. But I dare not even speculate.
Tash, then we come to the drugs cover-up, which I mentioned at the top of the show. This new reporting from Newsweek magazine, which has confirmed the withheld documents. Jack Royston reporting the US State Department has withheld 18 documents relating to Prince Harry and will continue reviewing hundreds more in a Freedom of Information Act case related to his visa and past drug use, court documents show. The right-wing think tank Heritage Foundation initially sued the Department of Homeland Security. That's the great man Niall Gardner, seeking the release of Harry's visa records and arguing the American public had a right to know whether he was candid about his use of narcotics. Government officials have spent months processing material turned up in searches of State Department computer systems, and at the end of July took a decision in relation to an initial batch of 18 documents. In total, they are working through 307 documents, comprising 2,487 pages in total. However, anyone hoping for a first chance to see government records about the royal may be disappointed to discover that they chose to withhold the files in their entirety. A joint status report filed at the District Court in DC and seen by Newsweek read this case stems from a Freedom of Information Act request that plaintiffs submitted to the department for records regarding Henry Charles Albert David, also known as the Duke of Sussex or Prince Harry. The State Department made its first interim production in this case on July the 30th, in which it identified 18 responsive records, all withheld in their entirety. Cover up. The Immigration and Nationality Act and FOIA exemptions were cited as justifications. That leaves 289 responsive documents still under review, and it remains possible some may be disclosed publicly. The filing suggested the parties will file their next joint status report on October the 13th. Now, Lauren the Insider, Tash, has interviewed the top criminal barrister Marcus Johnston today. He suggests there may well be a drug use cover-up going on here. Look. If you want more hard-hitting Harry and Meghan coverage like this with the double standards called out, hit subscribe right now and turn on the notifications. Dan Wood and Outspoken has no spin, no bias, and no censorship.
I think with